Hi, Craig. We knew we'd find you here at Finchley today and thought we'd stop by to interview you for the Golf 3D Tech Talk. Do you have a few minutes?
Yep, absolutely. I've just finished a lesson, so ready to answer some questions. Let's go.
Craig, how long have you been coaching and when did you start teaching here at Finchley?
So I've been coaching now for 10 years in total. The last 5 years I specialised in TrackMan and K-Motion 3D, and funny enough, I've come back to Finchley Golf Club, so I was actually here 10 years ago as a PGA assistant. I kind of went away, I did lots of coaching, I kind of travelled the world with my coach, and I've come home now. So I've actually been here 4 days so far, so I've come full circle, but I'm home.
Let's jump right into some 3D questions. What made you decide to integrate K-Coach into your programs?
So it's the versatility of K-Coach for me. It does everything from, I can have a guy on the mat and within 5 minutes I can have them strapped up and we can see everything from their kinematic sequence to wrist angles, whether they're turning, tilting, and kind of what's working for them and what's not. If the person on the mat can't get it to a particular swing position, I can use the biofeedback to allow them to get their own personal feel without me having to jump in. But more than anything, I'll also use it when a complete beginner or even a professional comes in and they want to get an assessment. I will take some TrackMan data first of their whole bag, strap them up, put on the evaluation setting. From there then, that's going to give me everything that I need to know about their swing from a 6-iron and a driver. It allows me to kind of again work through the report of the swing characteristics side, the kinematic sequence, and within a few minutes, the guys on the mat are mind blown the fact that I know more about their swing than what they do. So that's why I love using it. It's a really simple piece of kit. It's really quick to strap someone up, and within at least 10 minutes, we've got a good blueprint going of exactly what we need to do.
Has K-Coach made you a better instructor?
Without a doubt. So the K-Coach not only allows me to see how people are tilting, turning, and are they getting the most out of their swing, but even when I'm not using it, it's a great way, I can tell within a few swings from, if the student's struggling to strike the ball, if whatever their curve patterns might be, I can within a few minutes diagnose it as if they've got the vest on, so I can tell if someone is over-rotating, under-rotating, if their hands are firing quicker than their hips. I can get a good sense. So even without it on it, it's helped me understand how the body moves, and obviously the importance of how the body moves as well in the different segments of torso and hips. So yeah, 100%.
Craig, what have you learned from using 3D?
So for me, the biggest thing that I learned is the elite players and the tour professionals that we all see on the television, and we're all very much in admiration of. They all swing it very different. There's no one that really swings it the same, from Dustin Johnson to Shane Lowry. They're all very, very different at the top. Justin Thomas, another one. However, they all possess very similar traits in regards to how they tilt, how they rotate, and their sequences are very similar. So although there's different ways of getting the club to the desired top position, impact always looks very similar. And that's mainly because of the way they rotate, the way they tilt, and the way they synchronise everything together.
Let's shift gears a little. We know you just started your new position at Finchley. Tell us more about the facility and what it can offer to the public.
So Finchley Golf Club is a par 72. It's in North London. It's a quirky little course. It's got, in my opinion, some of the best greens in North London. It's certainly, although it might look a little short on the card, I think it's about 6.5 or 6.6. Off the tips, it certainly plays its full yardage, but as I say, the greens are its defence, and I think they're fantastic. The surroundings as well, we've got a fantastic old clubhouse which hasn't been changed over the years. And then on site, we've got everything from obviously the simulator that we're in today. So we've got the sim that we use for the indoor work, fittings and K-Coach and other bits, as well as great putting green, good short game facilities over the back. We've also got a nice grass hitting area out on 17 as well. So There's pretty much everything you'd need here to improve your golf, whether you're a beginner or at an elite level.
Can you tell us how to find your academy and what types of upcoming projects you have there?
Yeah, so the academy itself can be found on a few different kind of websites and links. So the Finchley Golf Club website would be the number one place. That's got my link to my diary system and about all the information about the academies and everything we do here. Second option would be social media, so Instagram. You could find me at Craig Normansell __ golf.coach, and also on Facebook as well under the same profile. Projects wise, there's a few bits going on. I've got the Junior Pathway Development Programme. That's a link between here and a place just up the road, Metro Golf Centre. So on a Wednesday, I'll be there coaching the upcoming players at 5 and 6 o'clock. And then we also have them back on site. We've got our cadets here, which are fantastic. We have those on a Wednesday. And also I have some players on a Saturday morning coming down as a group. So there's a lot going on with the juniors to try and really get those pushed through, from the group setting to eventually into junior competitions and hopefully represent the club in inter-county or club matches. The other bits I've got going on, I've recently signed with Putt Out to start doing their training videos and drills for testing their new equipment, which is great. Some of their products are fantastic for all the amateurs and professionals like myself to use to help obviously hole more putts. So that's another little good venture coming. And then finally, I've in the background I'm still doing my research on my TrackMan and obviously K Coach, but I've got a good little kind of side project going, which is how we can get players better quicker. And it's not necessarily from hitting more balls, but it's the quality of how we hit them. So I'm trying to get it down to around about 15 minutes at the moment, 15 minutes to 20 minutes every 2 or 3 days. Can make a huge difference if we start focusing more on the body movements rather than constantly trying to put the club into a position. So yeah, there's some good bits coming, good bits coming.
That's great. We have a few more 3D questions we'd like to wrap up with. Let's jump back into those. What is the main benefit you feel you receive from K-Coach?
The main benefit is, again, back to what I said earlier, it's allowing me to diagnose the student quick. It doesn't take a lot, if they're vested up and they've got all the sensors on, within a few swings I can work out what that player needs, whether it be, as I said before, they need more tilt because they're struggling, or even simple things such as posture and how he stands the ball are simply forgotten about sometimes, and we're so focused on trying to get the swing better that we forget about the simple bits. So definitely the strapping up and within a few swings working out is their sequence out and why is the sequence out, what's firing, what's not firing, and instantly being able to use the biofeedback to then train that player how I need them to start moving.
What type of students that you work with benefit most from K-Coach?
I would say everyone. So I've coached everybody from a complete beginner all the way to a professional tour player. So the pros, they like it more for kind of just double checking where they are on the graphs with their kinematic sequence. They also like it as well for sometimes just the biofeedback to have simple feelings such as keeping it a little bit shorter in the backswing or just tilting a little bit more. And the beginners, we find with those that they need the kind of compound movements of how to take the correct posture, so the forward bend element, and understand that it comes from the hips and the torso, as well as simple things again of rotation. Especially for the senior player that struggles to get that rotation and usually ends up kind of following moving off the ball because they're staying in flexion too long. It's really good to kind of teach everyone that the three elements of you're rotating, you're tilting, and you're extending at the same time is all really good for any level. But yeah, the guys in general love it. I've never had someone say that they're not amazed by it, but usually the beginner players actually find it more useful sometimes than the pros.
Would you recommend K-Coach to other players, coaches, or students?
100%. So I think with the way the future of golf is going in general, the simulator rooms and home studios are becoming so much more common that the K coach and the K player, so the sister to this, are great in the fact of in a lesson you can have the coach kind of have the student doing the drills that we've prescribed, and then they can have that saved on the you know, on their kind of background platform, and then they can go home, put on their own K player, and then they can still train as if the coach is still there. So I think it's got definitely a good future on that sense. Also the fact that a lot of people are really good at kind of practicing, or they, you know, they come for lessons and they say, you know, I can hit it really good when I'm in front of the coach, but I can never quite take it to the course. It's that transition between the training area or the training facility and then what I call the arena. And the arena is obviously where we need to be able to perform, and sometimes that transition gets lost, and mainly it's because people practice, you know, wrong or poorly in regards to they focus on the wrong things rather than the right things. So I think the transition becomes a lot smoother, and obviously, you know, guys will improve quicker when they start to focus more on if the body moves the right way. Chances are that the club is going to start to follow that rather than vice versa. Yeah.
Craig, how would you feel if you could no longer use K-Coach?
It's kind of like saying to someone, how would you feel if you could no longer see but you had to teach someone to drive? So what you're doing is you're taking away the ability of the coach to see kind of what's going on undercover. It's really easy as a PGA professional to kind of stand there and see ball flights and see things like rhythm or tempo or little kind of alignment issues. But when you're getting into the nitty-gritty bits and the important bits, such as the tilts and the rotation and the peak speeds, the sequencing, it's really hard to see that with your eyes. So it's a lot easier to have that on the tile system when it comes up, you know, almost like a TrackMan, and I can tell them straight away, no, that wasn't enough, or that was too much. So I mean, without it, it's going to be, you know, a lot harder. And you know, what I've always kind of said is, you know, I'm always honest with my students. I was a player before I turned into a coach, and everything that I try and do is backed up by evidence. So there's no guessing here at Finchley. I don't guess with any of my players. I'm not just going to say, oh, I think it's a bit of that. We don't guess because we can measure, and we measure with the TrackMan and we measure with the K coach. So if we're measuring, then we're providing evidence, and when we're providing evidence, you're giving that person or that student on the mat the exact thing that they require there and then, rather than just I think it's a little bit of this, I think it's a little bit of that.
If someone wanted to take a lesson with you, what would be the best way to reach you?
Yep, so again, back to what we said earlier, there's a few ways. You can go through the Finchley Golf Club website. All of my details and information are on there, where you can have live access to my diary. You could also go through my Instagram page at craignormansell_golf.coach. So you could DM me on there, because I also do online lessons as well. So you could also send it across if you're not in obviously the UK, feel free. Or you could also email me at ucan_golf@hotmail.com.
That's all the questions, Craig. We thank you for taking the time and being part of Golf 3D Tech Talk. We look forward to seeing you more in the future.
No, thank you. Thanks for coming down. Thanks for visiting Finchley. You know, it's a great place. It's got a lot of exciting bits coming up, and thanks for visiting me in the sim, and we'll see you soon.